Welcome to CBSE Grade 10 Part A, Unit 1, Communication Skills. In this section, we will focus on exam preparation through short questions. These questions are designed to help you revise key concepts quickly, improve clarity, and score confidently in board examinations. Each question targets important definitions, principles, and applications of communication skills as per the CBSE syllabus. Let's begin this focused revision and strengthen your exam readiness. Now let's move on to the short questions exam preparation section. These questions require clear, brief, and accurate answers. They focus on key concepts, definitions, and explanations from communication skills, exactly as expected in the CBSE examination. Practicing these short questions will help you improve answer structure, manage time effectively, and score well in board exams. Question 1. Briefly explain the role of channel and receiver in the communication cycle. Answer. The channel is the means or medium through which the information is sent from the sender to the receiver, like speaking or writing. The receiver is the person to whom the message is sent and who interprets it. In simple words, the channel is how the message travels, such as through speech, a phone call, or a written message. The receiver is the person who receives and understands the message. Communication is successful only when the receiver clearly understands what the sender wants to say. Question 2. Differentiate between interpersonal and small group communication with one example for each. Answer. Interpersonal communication is a one-on-one conversation between two individuals, such as a manager discussing performance with an employee. Small group communication involves more than two people, like in a board meeting where all participants can interact. Interpersonal communication happens between only two people and allows direct and personal interaction. Small group communication includes three or more people, where discussion and idea sharing take place among all members. Remember, writing clear definitions and adding one correct example will help you score full marks in short answer questions. Question 3. List two advantages and two disadvantages of verbal communication. Answer. An advantage is that it allows for a quick exchange of ideas and immediate response. A disadvantage is that the wrong choice of words can create confusion. Another advantage is its flexibility, while another disadvantage is its potential for misinterpretation. Verbal communication helps people interact quickly and clear doubts instantly. It is flexible because speakers can adjust their words based on feedback. However, poor word choice or unclear language can confuse the listener. Differences in accent, tone, or understanding can also cause misinterpretation. Exam tip. In exams, always write two clear advantages and two clear disadvantages. Use keywords like immediate response, flexibility, confusion, and misinterpretation to score full marks. Question 4. Why is nonverbal communication considered more impactful than verbal communication? Answer. Nonverbal communication is more impactful because it constitutes about 93% of our total communication. Body language, gestures, and tone of voice often convey our true feelings and intentions more powerfully than the words we use. Nonverbal cues such as facial expressions, posture, eye contact, and tone of voice help people understand emotions clearly. Even when words are limited, body language communicates feelings effectively. Exam tip. Always mention the percentage, 93%, and examples like body language, gestures, and tone of voice. Writing these points helps you secure full marks in board exams. Question 5. Explain how posture and facial expressions act as types of nonverbal communication. Answer. Postures, such as standing straight, can show confidence, while slumped shoulders might indicate weakness. Facial expressions directly convey emotions like happiness through a smile or sadness through a frown, making them a powerful nonverbal tool. Posture reflects a person's attitude and confidence level even before they speak. Standing upright shows alertness and confidence, whereas slouching suggests tiredness or lack of interest. Facial expressions instantly communicate emotions without words and are universally understood, making them one of the strongest forms of nonverbal communication. Exam tip. Always mention both posture and facial expressions separately with clear examples like standing straight, smile, or frown. Writing examples helps you score full marks in 3 to 5 mark questions. Question 6. What is visual communication? Provide 2 examples of signs used in visual communication and state their meaning. Answer. Visual communication is the exchange of information using images or pictures. For example, a sign showing a phone with a line across it means no mobile phone. A sign with a skull and crossbones is a universal warning for danger. Visual communication conveys messages quickly without the use of words. It is especially useful in public places because signs and symbols can be understood by people of different languages and backgrounds. Exam tip. In exams, clearly define visual communication first, then give exactly 2 examples with their meanings. Use keywords like images, symbols, and universal warning to strengthen your answer. Board exam reminder. For short and long answers, always define first. Give examples. Use keywords. Keep answers neat and structured. Question 7. Why is it important to offer timely and polite feedback? Answer. Feedback should be timely because if delayed, it loses its impact and relevance. It must be polite to ensure the recipient does not feel offended and is receptive to the message, which encourages positive change and maintains good relationships. Timely feedback helps a person correct mistakes or repeat good performance while the situation is still fresh. Polite feedback creates a supportive environment where the receiver feels respected and willing to improve, rather than discouraged or defensive. Exam tip. Use keywords like impact, relevance, positive change, and good relationships. Mention both timely and polite aspects clearly to score full marks. Question 8. Describe 2 ways in which feedback can motivate an employee. Answer. Positive feedback appreciating good work motivates employees to maintain their performance and builds their confidence. Constructive feedback helps them to learn, improve, and focus on their goals, which boosts morale and engagement with their work. When employees receive appreciation, they feel valued and confident. Constructive feedback guides them on how to improve, giving direction and purpose, which increases motivation and commitment towards their work. Exam tip. Always write 2 distinct points, one for positive feedback and one for constructive feedback. Avoid mixing them into a single sentence in exams. Board writing reminder. Start answers directly. Keep language simple and formal. Use terms from the textbook. Separate points clearly. Question 9. Explain the concrete and correct principles from the 7 CAs of communication. Answer. Concrete means communication should be specific, using exact words and facts rather than being vague. Correct implies that the message should be grammatically accurate, with correct spellings and language, to ensure professionalism and clarity. Concrete communication avoids confusion by giving clear facts and precise details instead of general statements. Correct communication ensures that errors in grammar or spelling do not change the meaning of the message or reduce its credibility. Exam tip: write both terms separately with their meanings. Use keywords like specific, exact words, grammatically accurate, clarity, and professionalism to score full marks. Question 10. What are linguistic barriers? Give an example of how they can cause miscommunication. Answer: linguistic barriers occur when language itself causes a communication breakdown. For instance, using technical jargon or complex professional terms with a person who is not from the same field can lead to misunderstanding and misinterpretation of the message. Linguistic barriers arise due to differences in language, vocabulary, or use of difficult terms. When the receiver cannot understand the words used, the message fails to convey its intended meaning properly. Exam tip: always define the term first, then give one clear example. Avoid long stories, keep the example short and relevant to language use. Question 11. Briefly explain interpersonal barriers to communication with an example. Answer: interpersonal barriers happen when the sender's message is received differently than intended, often due to personal factors. For example, stage fright or a personal dislike for someone can prevent a person from communicating openly and effectively. Interpersonal barriers are related to personal feelings, attitudes, or emotions. Fear, lack of confidence, or bias towards someone can stop clear communication, even if the message itself is correct. Exam tip: always mention one cause and one example. Use terms like personal factors, stage fright, lack of confidence. These keywords help examiners award full marks. Question 12. List 4 ways to overcome barriers to effective communication. Answer: 4 ways to overcome communication barriers are using simple language, using visuals to support the message, being respectful of others' opinions, and trying to communicate in person whenever possible to understand nonverbal cues. Using simple words reduces confusion, visuals help explain ideas clearly, respect builds openness, and face-to-face communication helps us understand gestures, expressions, and tone better. Exam tip: for list questions, write points clearly separated by commas or bullets. Do not explain unless asked. Clear listing fetches full marks quickly. Question 13. Explain the capitalization rules for names and the starting letter of a sentence with examples. Answer: the names rule states that the first letter in the names of people, places, days, and months must be capitalized, like Suresh is visiting London in June. The starting letter rule dictates that every sentence must begin with a capital letter, as in, the cat is sleeping. Capital letters help distinguish proper nouns from common words and make sentences grammatically correct and easy to read. These rules are part of the TINS rule of capitalization commonly tested in exams. Exam tip: always quote one clear example for each rule. Writing the example sentence neatly and correctly capitalized can earn full marks even if the explanation is brief. Question 14. Differentiate between a noun and a pronoun using an example sentence. Answer: a noun is a word that names a person, place, thing, or idea, like Kavita and book in Kavita bought a book. A pronoun is used in place of a noun, like she in she has a great collection. Nouns give names, while pronouns avoid repetition and make sentences smoother. Pronouns always refer back to a noun already mentioned. Exam tip: for differentiate questions, always define both terms and give examples. Writing both examples clearly is important for scoring full marks. Question 15. What is the difference between an adjective and an adverb? Illustrate with an example. Answer. An adjective describes a noun, for example, in she wore a beautiful dress, beautiful describes the noun dress. An adverb modifies a verb, telling how an action is done, as in she sang beautifully, where beautifully describes the verb sang. Adjectives answer what kind or which one about a noun, while adverbs usually answer how, when, or how often about an action. Exam tip. In grammar questions, always underline or clearly mention the word being described, noun or verb. Writing one adjective example and one adverb example is compulsory for full marks. Question 16. Define conjunctions and prepositions. Give one example of each used in a sentence. Answer. Conjunctions are words that join two words, phrases, or sentences like and, in, I like tea and coffee. Prepositions connect a word to another, usually showing position or time, like on, in, the book is on the table. Conjunctions help link ideas smoothly, while prepositions show relationship, especially place, time, or direction. Exam tip. For definition-based questions, remember the formula. Definition plus example sentence. Missing the example may lead to partial marks only. Question 17. Identify the subject, verb, and object in the sentence, the dog chased the cat. Answer. In this sentence, the subject is the dog as it performs the action. The verb is chased as it describes the action. The object is the cat because it receives the action of being chased. To find the subject, ask who is doing the action. To find the verb, ask what is the action. To find the object, ask who or what is affected by the action. Exam tip. In identification questions, always label clearly as subject, verb, and object. Writing them in sequence helps the examiner award full marks quickly. Question 18. Explain the difference between a direct and an indirect object using a sentence. Answer. A direct object directly receives the verb's action, while an indirect object shows to whom or for whom the action is done. In he bought his daughter a computer is the direct object and his daughter is the indirect object. If a sentence has two objects, the thing being given is usually the direct object, and the person receiving it is the indirect object. Exam tip. Always include one complete example sentence when explaining direct and indirect objects. Missing the example may reduce marks, even if the definition is correct. Question 19. Convert the following sentence from active to passive voice. Ravi painted the entire house. Answer. The sentence in the active voice is Ravi painted the entire house. In the passive voice, the object becomes the subject, so the converted sentence is the entire house was painted by Ravi. In active voice, the subject performs the action. In passive voice, the object receives the action. Here, the entire house becomes the subject, and the verb changes to was painted. Exam tip. While converting to passive voice, always change the verb form correctly and use by only when the doer is important. Incorrect tense change is a common mistake in exams. Question 20. What are declarative and interrogative sentences? Give one example for each type. Answer. A declarative sentence provides information or states a fact and ends with a full stop. For example, blue is my favorite color. An interrogative sentence asks a question and always ends with a question mark, such as, "Do you want tea or coffee?" Declarative sentences tell something, while interrogative sentences ask something. The punctuation mark at the end helps us identify the sentence type easily. Exam tip: in grammar questions, never forget punctuation marks in examples. A missing full stop or question mark can lead to loss of marks, even if the definition is correct. Thank you so much for watching this lesson. A downloadable PDF version of these notes is available in the description box below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us create more educational content and keeps you updated with upcoming videos. See you in the next session.